Welcome back to Tipping Point. I'm your host, Kara McKinney. Vladimir Putin's most high-profile critic is dead after allegedly trying to spark a foreign-backed revolution inside Russia. George Papadopoulos explained today, quote, "It's horrific when a political opponent dies in jail, but it's also never good to be caught on camera attempting a coup in your country with a foreign intel service." Navalny in this video is asking MI6 officer James William Thomas Ford for $10 to $20 million a year to start a color revolution in Russia. This is why he was arrested. And his major implications, especially in light of the CIA and MI6 sabotaging the Trump administration. Russia and the U.S. are more alike than you think, sadly, end quote. Now, other reporting states that the man in the video is not exactly Navalny himself, but a close associate of his, and so the point remains the same. Alexei Navalny met his end inside a Russian maximum security prison in the Arctic Circle. He had survived a poisoning attempt and months in isolation. It's not clear what the exact cause of death for the 47-year-old is at this time. His widow, Yulia, is in Munich, Germany for the security conference. When she got word of his death today, she made a dramatic appearance to say that Putin would not go unpunished. It's just a heartbreaking situation all the way around, and it should remind us of some very important lessons. The world is full of some very nasty people. Navalny died in Russian custody, possibly murdered, while an American, Gonzalo Lira, was likely tortured to death as well in Ukrainian custody last month for daring to criticize Kyiv's war effort. And the Biden regime's silence on the matter spoke volumes. Is this really a war of authoritarianism versus democracy, as they would have us believe? At least we don't give money to Russia, so what they do or don't do isn't on us. But we do bankroll Ukraine, so that makes us culpable in some ways. The death of Navalny, and Lira for that matter, should really make the American left pause and reconsider. I know they like to praise Lenin and Marx and act like little commies, rioting and threatening violent state control to get what they want. But that's only because it's been safe to do so in this country until now. They're just play acting with no real stakes involved. But the more they shred our Constitution and go after political dissidents through lawfare, such as trying to lock up President Trump and his associates during an election year, putting J6 veterans and grandmas into DC gulags, and threatening pro-life Americans with decades behind bars for daring to sing hymns outside abortion clinics, well, the closer they're getting us to having our own Navalny die in prison for criticizing the ruling powers. Though, of course, some could rightfully argue the CIA and other secretive federal agencies have already been doing that in the shadows for many decades, but you get what I mean. When we say the left is playing with fire, they truly are. They are shocked about what happened to Navalny, but it's more shocking for them to think it couldn't happen here. So what do we do in this topsy-turvy world where American politics is starting to more closely resemble the corrupt regimes we used to overthrow, while old power alliances are shifting to our detriment as a hegemonic power on the world stage? Well, our next guest tonight wrote about exactly that at Newsmax after having the great honor of speaking with a legendary Polish leader who helped to bring the original Cold War to a favorable close. So joining us now to discuss is national security researcher John Rosamondo. John, thanks for being here tonight. Can you talk to us about the question that you got to ask, and I'm probably going to butcher the name, I'm sorry, but Lech Walesa?
Well, I went up and asked Lech Walesa what could we learn from Solidarity, which was the organic union that he put together in 1980 and during the 1980s that formed a resistance to Soviet communism, the Soviet occupation of Poland and its puppet regime in Warsaw that overcame the empire with support from the Reagan administration and the CIA. But it was an organic movement. It was for the people. It focused on the bread and butter issues that Poles cared about. It wasn't some opposition figure who got 2% in the polls, who is supported by the elites. I mean, one of the things that Putin is a thug, he's a criminal, but also we have to look at the people who are opposing him. In many cases, they're equally corrupt. I mean, and some of the things that I've been looking into with regard to Russiagate is the potential connection between energy concerns and the targeting of Trump and targeting of Papadopoulos